These are 5 defenses to consider streaming in Week 1. Number 1 on the list is the Arizona Cardinals. They roll into New Orleans this week to face off against Spencer Rattler and the Saints. In 7 games last year, Rattler took 22 sacks, had a 4-5 touchdown to interception ratio, and lost 3 of 5 fumbles. Now the Saints were hit with the injury bug, losing both Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed pretty early on in the season. But even with them back healthy, there are still a lot of questions surrounding this offense. For one, Alvin Kamara is getting older, and 2, most importantly, this offensive line has a lot of questions. The Saints drafted another tackle in the first round, but that still may not save them from being a bottom 10 unit. I'm not typically a fan of starting defenses on the road, but this matchup is enticing enough to warrant consideration. The Cardinals defense quietly had some top 10 stretches last year, and if you're looking for a defense to hold on to through the early part of the season, they are one to consider, facing Carolina, San Francisco, Seattle, Tennessee, and then Indianapolis. Number 2 on the list is the Washington Commanders, who face off against the Giants and Russell Wilson, who has taken more sacks than any other quarterback since coming into the league in 2012. As it stands, he's taken the 3rd most all time, and there's very little reason to believe he won't continue adding to his total. He took 33 sacks last year in 11 games, and he took 45 in 15 games the year before. He just doesn't have the ability to scramble the way he once did. And Washington just added Von Miller to a defense that quietly had 43 sacks last season, tied for the 7th most. Now the one thing to keep in mind is that the Commanders didn't generate a lot of turnovers last year, so they'll have to hang their hat on sacks and keeping the Giants out of the end zone. Number 3 on the list is the San Francisco 49ers, who face off against the Seattle Seahawks team that has a bottom 3 offensive line on paper, and a quarterback they're very familiar with in Sam Darnold, who was on the team 2 years ago, which should help them exploit an already favorable matchup. The 49ers got an upgrade in leadership, with Robert Saleh coming back as defensive coordinator, but a downgrade in personnel, losing Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Shavarius Ward, and Javon Hargrave in free agency. This secondary is also solid, with Diamador Lenore and Malik Mustafa, and with them having the easiest schedule on paper, there's a good chance they exceed a lot of people's expectations. I could see them being like the Rams from a couple years ago, who got the most out of their draft picks in the post-Aaron Donald era. And speaking of the Rams, they are number 4 on my list. They faced off against the Houston Texans, who gave up 54 sacks last year, tied for the 3rd most. And they traded their anchor in Laramie Tunsil away this offseason. They also released Shaq Mason, and they haven't done too much to backfill the position. They did bring in Cam Robinson and Laken Tomlinson, but until they develop chemistry, this has to be viewed as one of the worst units in the league, and they should be prone to giving up sacks. There's also questions at receiver outside of Nico Collins, and at running back with Joe Mixon on the shelf for the first 4 games. On the flip side, the Rams have one of the more up-and-coming defenses in the league, led by last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse. They had a strong close to the season last year, finishing in the top 8 over the last 5 weeks, and are well positioned to pick up where they left off. Number 5 on the list is the New England Patriots, who got a pretty big facelift this offseason, making a splash by signing Milton Williams, Harold Landry, and cornerback Carlton Davis to big deals. And once Christian Gonzalez gets healthy, this could be one of the more formidable secondaries in the league. The Patriots face off against the Raiders and Geno Smith, who I do believe is a capable quarterback, but he'll have to overcome a below-average offensive line. I can see Mike Vrabel getting his troops off to a strong start, and I would have had the Patriots higher were it not for the Ashton Genty variable and the fact that they finished as the 31st scoring defense in fantasy last season. As an honorable mention, I want to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, who faced off against the Browns and Joe Flacco, who was throwing it all over the yard last time he was a Brown. But going off recent history, there's a chance he struggles, and if he does, the Bengals may feast, especially with Trey Hendrickson back in the mix. Those are 5 defenses to consider streaming. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know which defenses you think we should stream in the comments below.